Episode 1. Let me take these off.
Season 2, Episode 1. Come a long way, dude.
Those hurt.
Come a long way.
I know, dude. Season, holy shit, season 2. That's insane.
It's insane that it's
We've
come
made it
this
this far.
fast.
We've made it, baby.
So if you caught up on, or if you watched the last episode, season 1, you know that this is going to be very ranty, very
Self therapy ish.
yeah. There's not going to be a general structure to things. It's going
I
to
would say
be
this
what
is
we feel.
this is going to be more of the season where we talk about the things that we want to talk about, the
the
things that
the shit that's bothering us.
like more of an episode of or more of an episode, more of a season to get some things off our chest and in a bigger picture, more of a season for everybody who listens to realize that we also deal with shit.
hmm
If it wasn't evident enough in the past episodes,
So, one thing that's been bugging me, and a lot of it has been on a personal level, but it has been surrounding the topic of accountability. And we talked about it in season 1, but I don't think that that is something that I learned a whole hell of a lot from, or maybe I learned it, I just chose not to implement it.
right?
So, there's been certain things that I've been slacking on, and to me that to the normal person they're probably minor things, but to me they're big. Like, for example, I have not been making my bed every morning.
I don't do that.
I normally make my bed every single morning, every time I get up. But the fact that, like, and I'm not using it as an excuse, but since my schedule has changed and I'm now like working at night, I'm not doing the same things that I like would normally do.
Yeah.
And
I mean, your
so,
schedules kind of just went from it wasn't no ease into the schedule flip. It was literally just like, hey, starting tomorrow, you're doing
well, it
night
was
shift.
it was like you got two
You know,
days. Flip your sleep schedule, and this is what we're doing.
right? So,
So
I mean that definitely does put a big factor into like your routine. You know,
I mean, but the thing is the whole thing about it is like I have not been holding myself accountable. I've been allowing myself to be lazy, and I don't like that. I actually hate that a lot. Um, and what sucks is there's nobody here that is close to me on the daily that that can hold me accountable other than myself.
right?
And this isn't just about the bed thing. There's a collection of things that have been
No, it's
really
about the bed thing.
there's a collection of things that have really been bugging me, and I'm gonna get into
Right.
them. Um, but like I want to point out my own flaws in this, like my own shit first before I get into the other things that I can't really control. Um, but like, yeah, like the bed thing, like taking out trash when it needs to be taken out, like dishes and shit like that. I'm just like slowly slipping back into this, like,
You're getting a little lazy.
exactly, like I'm getting lazy, and it's irritating the fuck out of me. And it sounds like, oh, well, maybe you should just do it. But sometimes it's not that easy.
Okay, but what is it that's making you, slip? And don't tell me it's because you're now on night shift because
No, it's not that.
and I want before I say what I'm going to say, I want everybody to realize this is just how we talk to each other, okay? Don't tell me it's because you flipped your schedule to night shift because that is probably the dumbest reason you could give me
I
because it's deeper than that.
I think what it is I'm getting too comfortable in certain aspects of my life, and it's bleeding over into like the other, like the personal side where people don't see me, where it's just me alone.
Right. You're behind closed doors.
Yeah, and so I'm in my mind, I'm sort of making excuses as to why it's okay or
Right.
why I can put it off and shit like
Right.
that,
Yeah.
which isn't the right thing to do, right? But at the same time, like I have to give myself some credit because I've noticed it. Otherwise, like my shit would be a wreck. Um,
Yeah.
and
Well, I mean, also, especially given the fact that your job like builds a lot of structure compared to other jobs.
yeah, and I
If
think that's
if
probably
you,
why it
you know,
irritates me so much.
yeah, it's because of all the structure they've given you.
And yeah, it's like the normal routine, right? And I guess it's a big thing is like I'm out of my routine,
Yeah.
and so it's like I said, it's bleeding over into other parts of my life.
Right.
And
I mean, would you think that because because of just that simple, because obviously a big part of it for you realizing it was the fact that you switch schedules. You think it's that is what's making it a little easier to just not take the accountability? Like, oh well, I'm worried about the fact that I switched schedules, so I'm just gonna push it off.
I think maybe it's that change, and I know that it's temporary. I think that is what's having me be like, oh well, it's gonna change back. So when I change back, then I'll get back into the routine. You know what I mean?
Then
And
you'll,
that's not
yeah,
an that's not a good excuse. Like there is no good
right,
excuse.
yeah. So you're kind of using that as your, well, I'm just gonna push it off until I'm back on the schedule that I want to be on, and then
Exactly.
deal with it.
Yeah. And that's like
Yeah,
not the right way to go about it.
yeah. Because I mean, you whether you change schedules, change jobs, whatever, you still got to do what you got to do, even if
And
it's as little as taking the trash out.
yeah, like and these are little things that normal people would be like, bro, it's not a big deal. To
Right.
me, it's a big deal.
Well, it's a big deal because you're realizing
Turn
that
the air on.
you're not doing these things that you do every day because you need to do them. Like you're not doing them because something else is bothering you, and so you're just like, whatever, you know.
I think also too, because I've had a few things change in my life here as of lately. Like my car has been fucking up, and um, it's got me
Some
under like,
other,
yeah, it's got me under like an undue or like an unnecessarily large amount of stress.
yeah, and I get that. Yeah, I mean, the car's not even a year old to you,
Exactly. So it's like it's sort of my way of
right?
maybe reverting back to old ways of thinking that
Yeah.
I'm fighting with.
Well, also, I mean, there's a bigger things going on that have changed recently that you're still dealing with right now that haven't been finalized or settled, you know. I
Yeah,
mean, from the
which
things that we've talked about, there's to a point where it's like, you know, it's like, all right, well, like this is that, and we move on from here. But there's still some smaller things inside of that bigger thing that's not happening, that's not being resolved, you know.
and with
So I
that,
mean, you got a lot of things going on.
so I'll just say it right, like that aspect. I am actively going through a divorce. We are getting everything kind of ironed out in
Right.
the best way possible, right? And it's mutual. It's not like a fucking like a horrible I hate her, she hates me kind of thing. Like that's not the case.
Yeah.
Um,
Hello.
so it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier in that aspect, but I think that might be having some effect.
Hmm.
Not a huge effect, but some for sure. Especially as far as like mindset goes, because obviously there's kids involved, and and things
Right.
like that. So I think we're just um, kind of trying to figure out the best way to navigate it, or at least I am trying to figure out the best way to navigate it.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is too is you've got that, you've got your job, you've got the schedule switch. You're not doing some of the chores you need to be doing, your car, like you've got all these things, piling up.
Yeah, I think maybe it was like a lot of stuff all at once, and
Yeah.
and that's
And
kind
I
of
that's a lot to handle at once, especially when it is like one after another, like back to back to back.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think maybe the stress with that is sort of getting to me because like I don't deal with stress like most people deal with. Like there's well, I can't say that because like it's like really subjective how you deal with stress.
Yeah. Well,
But
I think all right.
the way that I usually deal with it, right, is to like break it apart. Like whatever the problem is, I'll break it apart into like smaller little problems
Yeah.
and be able to like check box it off.
Yeah. Well,
And
see
some of
what
the
I've
shit like I can't do that with, and it's just like
right.
a
It,
lingering thing.
yeah, it's one of those things out of your control.
So
But
yeah, that's kind of the big thing of accountability that I'm really
something that I do see that you do that I kind of just realized that would probably, I don't know, maybe it's definitely something you need to hear is I see you, you know, have these things happen like you get hit with the divorce, you get hit with the, switching job sites, you get hit with a car payment, the car messing up, and then instead of it like I got stressed from this from exhibit A, I'm gonna deal with it, and then exhibit B happens, I'm gonna deal with it. I see you take A, B, and C and then finally deal with it.
like all at once.
Yeah, I see you tend to do that where you kind of let the problems build up sometimes because at the time they're just minor and you're like, all right, well they'll figure themselves out, and then they turn into a major because you didn't, iron it out while it was minor.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do that a lot.
Yeah, I've seen it now, like I said, just now realizing it, I've seen it a lot throughout our friendship
Yeah,
where
and
you just kind of let some of the things pile up and then just like, you know what, all right, now I got to deal with it because it is really affecting me.
I guess I guess it's that's probably because like I'm so used to or like I grew up being reactive, not proactive. So when things
Hmm.
happen, I would react instead of preventing things from happening in the first place.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe that's like a uh, an old habit that I really need to work
Right.
on changing.
And maybe also, I mean, I don't know if you do deal with it like this or if it is like this for you, but maybe sometimes you got to realize when certain situations are just one of those things where you can't really like be proactive about it or prevent it,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
with the car fucking up. Like I get it's stressful because I mean I'm about to have to deal with that with the truck that I'm about to buy, but there was nothing I could have done to prevent it. It was going to happen. It's coming into my possession the way that it's coming in my possession.
Well, that's probably the thing that bugs me the most in that like category is the fact that there are things that I could have done to maybe not necessarily prevent it, but to just take a little bit more action. Like I could have done more to
You could
maybe
have, yeah, spent more
maybe
time looking for a different one, or
well either
you
that
know,
or just like when I got it, I could have like done as much maintenance on it as possible,
yeah,
stuff like that. Um,
right,
and so I'm like sort of struggling with not blaming myself for not doing that, even
right.
though it's hard.
And see, that's one of those things, man. Like I'm saying, where you just got to realize that it's like that whether it was going to happen or not, like it happened. It was something that you couldn't do nothing about until it did happen. You know,
Yeah.
like you're not going to replace your battery until your battery goes bad. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, kind of deal.
I think that's what was in my mind, and but the problem is like when you do that with something that you rely so much on,
Yeah,
you like that's a problem, right? Like
right.
when it's broken, you're like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, and
So
then
you think it's one of those things where it was just like it was more like even though it wasn't broken, you weren't really looking in to see like you weren't really focused on so much of the maintenance.
I think
You
I
were just
was,
waiting for it to break.
yeah, I think I was focused on other things, um,
Right.
because I was maybe I put too much trust into it with it being a used vehicle, and this could be for like a deeper thing too.
Right.
But maybe I just put like too much trust into it and was like, I'll get to it when I get to it, or I'll get to it when it needs my attention,
Right.
stuff like that.
Now, see, I also figured with the job that you do have, it was like I was like, well, he'll get there and he really won't use it too much except for like in his off time, you know? Because I imagine when you're, at work, you're using a company vehicle or maybe not even in a vehicle at all, you know?
Yeah, so yeah, that is typically the case. I think the biggest thing that I've that's probably put a lot of stress on it is the fact that I've come home multiple times since I've been here,
Right.
which
You've put a lot into it.
I do not regret it at
Right.
all. Um, but at the same
See,
time,
that's
it's like if I'm going to do that, I have to accept the responsibility and the risk of
right.
something going wrong.
Yeah, so you were taking these trips and not and like not getting back or getting home and being like, all right, let me check my oil, let me change it, let me
Right, right.
you were just like, I'm just gonna send it because it isn't the amount of miles, it hasn't been the amount of months. You were just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it.
Exactly, yeah. So,
You kind
I
of just neglected the maintenance.
yeah, along with same with like other aspects of my personal life, just kind of neglecting things that don't
But
necessarily scream, "Hey, look at me."
right, right. Now, I mean, also some of the some of the problem is like your last job site was overseas. It's kind of hard to see some of the things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can't fully blame yourself on some of it, especially if it's a situation of another party not communicating, you know, because again, that's how am I going to know if you don't tell me? You know, you're not going to know your car is broken until it tells you.
And that's the thing is like that's just something I have to really work on is being more proactive instead of reactive
Right.
because like being proactive, right, and like over preparing, there's nothing wrong with over preparing. Like some people may call it obsessive, some people may call it like paranoia, but at the
Right.
same time, if I'm
I'd
over
rather be over
preparing,
prepared.
yeah, if I'm over preparing for something and you're not, and
Yeah.
when the time comes and shit hits the fan for both of us, and I'm good and you're not,
Right.
it says something, right? And so
Kind of
now,
your own fault.
yeah, now I'm in the position of I didn't over prepare and now I'm dealing with the consequences of it, which I'm not like I'm not really beating myself up over it. It's just a situation where it's just like, this sucks. Let me tough it out and get through it and like learn from it the best I can.
Right.
It just, when you're going through a situation, regardless of what it is, it's hard for you
Yeah.
to look forward and it's just like you want to sulk in it, you want to be sad, you want to be upset.
Yeah. You just want it to be over and not have to work for it,
Right.
you know. But I mean, you're also kind of to that point where it's like you just got a day at a time, you know.
Yeah, and
And
that's not necessarily the best way to look at life always, but
right.
yeah, when you're going through tough times, like a day at a time
Yeah.
is the
Well, that's
best
what I'm
way that you
saying for,
can.
for where you're at right now with what you're dealing with, you kind of day at a time. And for the things that aren't in your control, you just gotta, you know, keep letting it, I don't want to say keep letting it happen, but, the best you can do with some of the things that aren't in your control is just keep tossing that reminder out, or you know, let it
Yeah.
sit for a while and then come back to it. Not the car. Don't let it sit for a while and come back to it. Definitely figure out what's wrong with it and fix it. But
Another thing and this is the reason why I wanted to talk about my problems first, because I had just experienced a situation where other people weren't necessarily accountable for themselves or their actions. And I think it
mhm,
really irritated me more because I seen so much of myself, or like my past self, in this other person.
right,
Um, and like the other day, I messaged you and I was like, let's record today, right? Because
yeah,
I need to get this off my chest. And well, I've kind of thought about it a little bit, and so I'm probably gonna say it in a way that's a little bit more understanding.
yeah, a lot more level headed.
Yeah, and it's not so emotionally driven. I am very tired of seeing people not take accountability for their own emotions and their own actions based on those emotions.
Right.
Mainly because, like, what you feel is what you feel, whether you want to hear that or not. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that I can be as sympathetic as I possibly can to you,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I cannot feel what you're feeling, nor am I responsible to change how you're feeling.
Yeah.
If I choose to try to get you out of that situation and, um, out of that sort of mindset, that's fine. That's me being a good person.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you're going to choose how you feel.
Yeah.
And I've seen it in a lot of men at work and in other aspects of my life where they will blow up, they will get upset, whether it be like
Hmm.
anger, sadness, what have you,
Hmm.
and then they'll do shit, and then they'll think about it later and they'll be like, man, I'm sorry, blah, 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 whatever.
Right.
When in reality, you should have just sat there,
Not
felt
done it.
it. Well, you should have sat there and felt it in the moment and thought
Right.
about your next move instead of just
Right.
going off and, flipping out
Yeah.
or doing X, Y, and Z.
Right. And we talked about that on the phone because both of us are we're in a line of work that's predominantly like dominated by, masculine, by males.
Mm-hmm.
So of course we see it a lot
Yeah.
because I mean, you and I have both see it. We probably see it every single day. So I mean, I'm with you on that. I personally can say I see it a lot with my father-in-law, and I tell him about it. He apologizes,
It's just
but like,
really irritating when people
yeah,
are just like, "Oh, I'm I'm angry, so I get to act this way, or I'm sad, so
right.
I get to act this way." Like,
I
no,
think
that's not the case.
what gets me the most too is when they do that and they come back and they say like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have let that happen, blah 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 blah, and then you hear them say, "But I'm working on it." But it's been months and you still haven't really worked on it. That's
Ki-
what gets me the most because you can keep saying you're working on it, but I want you to actually work on it.
You're making it sound like you're doing a good thing,
Right. Like
and
don't flip the script. Do you think that like maybe part of that is them trying to like knowingly or unknowingly kind of like put a little bit of guilt on you? Like as another form of them not taking accountability
I think it
even though they apologize?
I think it could be. I think it also could
Yeah.
be them using the apology as a band aid to fix the situation.
Right.
Of like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna work on it, and so it buys them some time.
Yeah. Because then you're like, bygones we got bygones for that little bit of time, and then they do it again.
Yeah, and it isn't until like later on when you you've put up with this for X amount of time for in like a long amount of time, and then you haven't said anything or done anything, and then you blow up because of it, and then they look at
Mm.
you like, damn, you're the problem, like, oh shit. But the whole
Yeah,
fucking time they've just been like, you know, passively putting it off or making it seem like it's not a problem.
right.
So it's like people who do that, dude, like fuck you. I'm straight up
I
tell you, just like fuck you.
that like I, f- I mean, I guess it's different because of the line of work that we're both in, which we're not in the same line of work. But the fact that it's male dominant, I think we see it a lot more in males just because of that. But yeah, I see a lot of older men that do that.
I see a lot of men who have struggled with emotional intelligence in their early life. And
Yeah.
because we live in a world, right, especially here in the United States, of like men can't be upset. Now it's now changing a lot, but
Hmm.
it's like men can't be upset, and if they are, it's because they're weak or because they're this or
Right.
that. So suck it
Yeah,
up and
men
be a
don't
man.
cry attitude. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a
And
hard thing to grow up with.
I think that's like also what kind of gets on my nerves too is because it's like you have those older men that is mainly who it's in, and even some men that are our age that's what they've always been told, that's how they were raised, and so they do that kind of shit, and then they want to project it onto you when you express that you feel some type of way, and they're like, well, I've been like this my whole life, so just deal with it. Like, I don't have to deal with shit, quite frankly, and I'm going to be 100% honest here. You're giving me an attitude, we can go outside and box. I don't give a fuck how old you are. Let's deal with our feelings. How about that?
Yeah, like it's arguably harder to sit here and have a difficult conversation about how you feel than it is to do really anything else. Like talking about how you feel is difficult as fuck. Cuz not only are you
Yeah.
feeling bad, like not only are you feeling bad, but then you're talking about it so it's making you feel worse or you're reliving that bad feeling. And it's
Right.
so much easier to just not talk about it and forget about it. But then
Yeah.
then it comes up in other places in your life and it's just like, well, why didn't you just fucking deal with this to begin with?
But see, here's the thing about that too, and I guess it's just that they don't fucking realize it, is it gets easier to talk about it the more you do it.
Yeah, it's like a skill. Like I said, it's a skill that you have to learn.
Yeah. Like it got easier to fix the next car the longer you did it.
Yeah.
So yes, it's gonna get easier to talk about your feelings the more you fucking do it.
It's the same concept with any other thing that you're learning.
Yeah. Because I mean I deal with that shit at work a lot too. Like I I'm in a line of work where it's like you have a lot of older people that's been doing it 30 plus years, 20 plus years, 40 years, you know what I'm saying? So they see me come in, I'm 27, they're in their 50s, and they're like, "Oh, well you don't know shit." Even though I'm good at my job, they're like, "You don't know shit, so I'm not going to hear shit." And I'm going to say whatever the hell I want to you. But that's not how it is. Like I know this is like not necessarily accountability, but like at the same time, you can't just talk to somebody however you want just because you're so much older or because you know more. Like
No, it is a form of projection, though.
it is a huge form of projection. And I've been expressing this a lot to my father-in-law, and he says that he sees it, but he doesn't fucking see it because he is the age of the same people at work that always nitpick everything that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't do it because you trust me because I'm your son-in-law and you know I'm good for what I do. And if it's fucked up, then I'll fix it. But when it's somebody else and I'm telling you the only reason that they're doing this is because I'm younger, and then you say, No, they did that to me when I started here too. It's because you're new here. I don't care about none of that. That's the wrong way to work in a company, by the way. Just because you're the new guy doesn't mean you need to get picked on. Because the other young guy, they do it to him too, but they don't do it to y'all.
And that'd
They
be,
just they send it however.
I was about to say that'd be a different thing when somebody comes in and it's their age and they're also new, and
Right.
yet they do the same or they treat them differently. Like, no, that's a bias now. Now that it's not the fact that you're new, it's the fact that you look at age as uh in a like a way to equate experience,
Hmm.
and that's not right. First of all, you should look at their work first, and
Right.
then be like, okay, now this is how I have to go about it, or now this
Yeah.
is where I need to like teach them some shit or whatever, you know.
Right. And see, now the thing that like really set it off for me was I had fixed this car, sent it over to paint. Mind you, the guy that was looking at it and bitching about it isn't the guy who paints the cars. Really, him helping the painter is just like it's not necessarily his job title. He doesn't have to do it,
It's like a
but he
courtesy.
does. Yeah, he does because when he did used to work there before, that's what his job was helping him prep the cars for paint. But I sent this car over and I was told not to fix the dent on the door because it was not part of the damages. The car had gotten broken into, the glass was shattered. I was only told to fix the scratches from the glass, so I sent it, you know. I did my shit. I sent it over and he's like, "Well, what about this dent? What about this and that?" I was told not to fix it. Go talk to my estimator. Don't make a big deal about it. And he's like, "Well, I'm not picking on your work." I'm like, "But you are." Because if my father-in-law would have sent this over, you probably wouldn't have said anything. You probably wouldn't even have looked at it. And the only reason you looked at it in the first place is because when I put the primer on it, it leaked a little bit. I sanded that shit out. He was like, "I was just making sure you got all that out." That's my job, bro. You're doing this because I'm young. Let's be honest, because we see it a lot, and you can't tell me that it's not. Because
Yep.
I've had bosses that do it to me. I've had other coworkers that are older that do it to me, and it's like, bro,
That's the same how it is with me. Is like they look at me and I look like a fairly young person, which I mean realistically, right? I am still pretty young. I turn 29 in 11 days.
yeah.
So
Happy birthday.
I'm still pretty young, generally speaking. In the line of work that I'm in, you don't only usually see people my age in this particular job.
Yeah.
Not
And at
it
least in the point that you were at.
exactly. If they are like they're like way further than where I'm at.
Right.
So
They've been up there.
they'll look at me and they'll be like, "Oh, you're young. You don't really know a whole lot." And then I get to talking to them, and they start to really get to know me, and they'll learn my age, they'll learn what I've been through, and they're just like, "Oh shit, okay, you know."
I've been thinking about you the wrong way.
Yeah, I'm judging a book by its cover. Like you're not who everyone else
Hmm.
says you are because of what your position is or what you wear,
Right.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because the thing
And
is, like, I may only be fucking 29, but my brain is like the brain of a 50-year-old.
right.
So
And the thing that gets me the most, at least for at my job, is it seems that they only do this when my father-in-law is not there. So like when he was on vacation or when he like leaves early because it's a Friday and he's going to the lake, and then I'll send a car over or something. And it's never the painter. It's never the guy who actually paints the cars because he's like, I don't care what they look like. You've sent it over here. I just assume it's ready unless I look at the paperwork and I see something that was on the paperwork that you didn't touch. And like, all right, that understandable. My bad, I forgot. Let
so
me drive it back over here.
he trusts you blindly
Right.
as another team member kind of
As a
should.
Yeah, as a coworker. But it seems like this one specific guy just wants to pick on me when my father-in-law is not there. And I'm like, either you say something because you'll say it nicer, and he, I guess, respects you more than he respects me for whatever fucking reason. He don't have to respect me. He don't know me. But, or I say something and it won't be respectful at all.
You think maybe it's because of the fact that he knows that if your father-in-law is there, he's gonna be the one that's gonna be like, all right, this is what you got to do or whatever, and kind of keep you in check in that way. And
I
so
think
he's
that's
like
what he
trying to, yeah,
thinks.
he's trying to like fit into that role while he's not there.
Yeah, I think that's what he thinks because he still will come by. Well, see, the thing that also gets me is like they will walk past. I'm like right next to the paint booth, like literally right next. Like if I could pick up a car, I could walk 2 feet and drop the car, and it's in paint, you know.
Yeah.
But like they walk past and they see the fact that he's over there working on a car and I'm over here working on a car, and he's not over here saying like, yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like I'm to the point now where like I'm doing there all the jobs are in his name still because I'm still on hourly, but I'm doing the jobs by myself. So like when I send it to paint, I put my name on it. They still know who it goes to because they have the paperwork and shit. But like I'm mainly just doing that so like if it is something fucked up that I missed or something, the painter can come to me and be like, "Hey man, can you pull it out and, get the spot you missed?" Like, "Oh yeah." Especially just cuz like I know what I did to this car and I know what got pulled off and I know what's going on with it. Sometimes my father-in-law doesn't check it.
You think it's necessary to
So,
have that conversation with this other person to be like, hey, I get what you're trying to
honestly,
do, but you're not doing it the right way.
honestly probably yes, but I'm to the point that I feel like if I do say anything to him, it's not going to be very respectful. So I'm going with the mindset of better to not say anything at all because I'm not going to say anything nice. But sure, he probably does think that, my father in law is still over here. Uh, Worst way to say this, babying me, teaching me how to do everything. When I'm to the point where I'm teaching him some shit, because we get some of these newer cars that he hasn't worked on yet. And I'm like, look, here's how you take this off. Just so if you ever do one, you know what to do.
Hmm.
And it is one of those jobs where you learn something new every day with newer models coming out every year. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he does think that, but he shouldn't be thinking that because he does see that I do all these jobs by myself.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat with like every time I go in, it's something different, it's something new. Every situation is different, so
Yeah.
you never know what you're gonna get, really.
Hmm. I get so tired of seeing it, and I say it to Aaron all the time. Well, not say my father-in-law's name, not that it matters, but I say it to him all the time. But I mean, he's also an old guy, so it's not going to click to him the same as it's going to click to me because he doesn't experience it.
Right. It's not as easy for him to learn lessons as it is someone who's
Right.
younger or, you know.
Right. Now, I mean, of course, like he's my father-in-law, he's going to take my side, he's going to have my back, but he's still not going to 100% understand how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
And I mean, it's different with him because sometimes he does do it, but I've known him since I was 14. So like I have no problem being like, bro, like, come on,
Back
you
off for
know?
a second. Like let me do this and then critique
Right.
me after. Yeah.
Yeah, let me show you that I know what the hell I'm doing here. Like, and it's not that I'm being cocky about it, it's that I'm confident enough about my job that I think you can let me do it myself, and if I fuck up, I fuck up.
Yeah.
That's when I'll come and get you and be like, "Yo, I kind of fucked up, help me out." Because there's still a lot of things that, and especially with like some of the body work, like certain body lines, like corners of like the door jambs and stuff. Some of that's hard to get right. So sometimes, yeah, I've been doing it, what, 5 months? Not even that, since December. Uh, or actually since like January, I think. Either way, like not even that long compared to somebody, my father-in-law, who's been doing it 33 years. Of course, I'm gonna come grab you and be like, check this out. Tell me what you think I should do. Like sand it a little more, add some more, like what?
Mhm.
He
I
knows I don't care to come and grab him. But when it's something super simple or something I've done already 100 times over, there's no point in me coming to get you.
there's a few people at my job that kind of sort of do the same thing. The simple things, I feel like you should just trust in the training and in the experience. And
Yeah.
like I've seen multiple accounts where someone would go do something, maybe not necessarily me, but they would go do something, and then someone who has been, uh, been at the job longer or has done it for longer, whatever, would
Hmm.
go right behind them and do the exact same thing.
Right.
And at the end of the day, what it is it's a trust issue. Like, you don't trust me to do the job, so you're going to go back and you're going to do the same exact thing.
I
And
get the same result sometimes.
yeah, and the issue with that, like in my line of work, is that we talk to people a lot. And so when you have one person coming up to you and saying something, and then right behind them you have another person coming up to you saying the same exact thing, first of
Right.
all, it makes for a bad like experience for the person. And then it obviously it shows like, hey, you don't trust this person to do their job. So what,
Yeah. Right.
like what's going on? Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Like I just walked up to you and was just like, uh, your total 796, and then my manager comes up and it's like your total 796. Well, you didn't think I told him the right total?
Exactly, right? Like, it's such a simple thing that it's like you really
Right.
don't trust me to do this? Like,
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, and for both of us speaking, right? I could understand if we had like just gotten into this line of work, it was like our second week. I could understand.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But you've been into it a little over a year now, longer than that.
2 years.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not very far into it, but my father-in-law sees that like it's not rocket science, it's not engineering, it's not hard at all. I can do it, you know.
Mhm.
So he definitely sees it. So yeah, so yeah, I mean, I get what you're coming from. It's kind of like you don't trust me, and the thing is for me, it's not a higher up that's not trusting me. If anything, it's somebody who's below me. Let's be honest here, because what you got hired to do, I don't know the actual job title, but I can put two and two together and tell you that it's general labor.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I don't wear a fucking badge or nothing like that, but my job title does say technician. So where does that put me? In a
Mm,
way, not above you as a like superior, like I can tell you what to do, but my job title is a lot more important than yours.
and I get the whole, like, before like people decide that they're going to come at me. I get the whole trusting a person but then verifying like their
Right.
work. I totally get that. But at the same time, like, you have to do that first part. You have to trust
Yeah.
and
No, I
then
mean it would.
verify, not just like straight up, all right, let me just go do it.
Yeah, because it would be way different if your manager came up behind you and was like, he did tell you the total was 796, right? Like just to
Yeah.
verify that you actually heard it. Like, you know what I'm saying? A little that could it's a little different than you just saying it again, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, because then it's just like you're not a robot. It's like,
Right.
or walking up to me and being like, "Hey, did you tell them the total?"
Right.
Because then it's like, all right, the person isn't even involved in
Yeah.
our conversation. You're just verifying with me, "Hey, did you do this thing?"
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Exactly.
that makes more sense to me to come up to
Yeah.
me and be like, "Hey, did you check, XYZ?" And
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Yep, I did this, I did this, but I didn't do it the way you told me to do it. I found a little bit of a better way to do it." And they're like,
Right.
"All right, cool, as long as it got done."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see my father-in-law would do that sometimes too. He'd be like, you did pull such and such off, right? And I'm like, that he does it a lot, so I get a little frustrated because I'm like, yes, like nothing has changed. When we tear the door apart, we take all of that off. Like I know, you're telling me stuff that I already know that I've done 100 times over.
Yeah.
But I get where he's coming from because he does mean well. He does mean like I'm just making sure that you still got it down, that there ain't nothing else I need to teach you right now. Because it's also one of those line of works where it's like he's not gonna be able to show me something until it happens.
But,
You know?
and here's the thing, and this is kind of to get sort of back on topic with what we were talking about. You as a teacher, right? Because we're students in this, in our jobs, right? You got to think of it that way. The
Right.
the person that's being the teacher has to take accountability for what they think and
Mm-hmm.
think about their next move and see,
Right.
is this the appropriate thing to do? Can I
Right.
trust this person to do X, Y, and Z? If
Mm-hmm.
not, then yeah, go ahead and do whatever you got to do. But
Right.
if ultimately you're doing it to, because there's one thing of like, here, let me show you how to do it, and then you do it, versus, all right, you go do it, and then you just step in and be like, all right, no, I'm going to do it instead. Like, you're
Yeah.
just stepping on people's toes at this point.
Right. Or to like, show you how to do it, let you do it, and then redo what you just fucking did, but do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Or even do it a different way and get the same exact result. Like, what
Get
was
the
wrong with the
same
way that I
exact
did it?
result. Right. Well, that's not the way I taught you.
Okay,
Does it matter?
this way works better for me, and it gets the same
Look,
result, and nothing is affected.
look, bro, I could take a left or I could take a right out of my driveway going to the store. If you take a left and I take a right, we're still going to go to the store, right? We're
And
still going to end up at the same store.
yep, and really,
So then why does it matter if I took a left out of the driveway?
realistically, the only thing that changes is the time it takes to get there. If I have to do something a little bit slower to make sure that I check every box, then so be
Mm-hmm.
it, right? But don't sit
Yep.
here and treat me like a child because you have experience with other people
Mm-hmm.
that is not necessarily the best, that you couldn't trust them, so now you can't trust me. Now you're projecting.
Yeah.
Now it's a problem.
You know, I'm glad you were mentioning that of like treating me like a baby because the other young guy that's being trained by somebody else, they said he's been doing it forever since he was 14, which like I don't know you enough to believe that, and it doesn't matter if I believe it or not. I'm not your boss, and I'm not you. But my father-in-law made a very good point the other day. He was like, I could do what the other guy's doing and treat you like my little bitch and just make you do the shit that I don't want to do. And I'm like, yeah, well, that wouldn't happen. First off, love you to death, Aaron, but that wouldn't fucking happen because I know my fucking worth, and you're gonna show me how to do this shit, and then I'm gonna show you that I can do this shit.
And at the same time, that's going to make me want to leave.
That's gonna make me want to leave because when I came here, my goal was to go on my own and make the good money that you make,
Yeah.
not not walk around here and be your little errand boy and do the shit that you don't want to do, even though you would do it because it's your job because you have to do it, but you're making me do it because you don't want to do it.
Yeah, see, that's just wrong.
And yeah, because at a certain point, it's not just I'm teaching you how to do this, so that's why I'm having you do it while I tell you how to do it. After a certain point, it's you're making me take these wheels off these cars and jack it up because you don't want to do it. Because you don't want to get on the
Yeah.
ground, put a jack stand under it, take the tire off. You don't want to do it. You know I can do it. I've showed you that I can do it. Why are you still making me do it for you? You know? So he did make a good point. I'm glad that he doesn't do that because I would have already left for sure. I would have been like, hey, I'm gonna go find something else if you don't just let me do it myself and show you that I can do it. Like
Yeah.
I'll grab you when I need you. So
Oh,
I'll give
man.
my father-in-law that. There's a lot of things that he will take accountability for. Because he'll be the first person to be like, that's why I let you do it on your own because I know you can do it, and I want you to show them that you can do it. You don't need to show me no more.
Yeah. So I'm just so tired of like, as far as like emotional accountability,
Yeah,
I'm tired of people feeling some type of way and then using that as the excuse to make bad decisions.
to react a certain way. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
And I mean, the sad thing is, we're going to see it a lot with our lines of work.
and I mean, I could say the same thing about me too, right? Like, I'm not leaving myself out. I'm not, high and mighty or whatever.
Oh, I for sure do it too.
Um, just because you feel some type of way doesn't give you the Like it doesn't make it right for you to react in a shitty way
Right.
or for you to be shitty.
You want to know, you've heard this, but I don't think we've ever talked about this on any of the episodes. The biggest thing that I've ever taken accountability for is the way that I react to my father-in-law sometimes. Because I grew up without a father, so when he shows me what a father is supposed to fucking be, I take it the wrong way. Now some things he could probably say a little better, not have so much like the way I perceive it as a negative emotion behind it because I'm not used to a father. But the biggest thing that I took accountability from that is on our wedding day, I walked up to this man and said, I want to apologize for the way that I act towards you sometimes when you show me what a father's like and I react negatively because I don't know what a father is supposed to be like.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate everything that you do for me, everything that you have done for me, and everything that you continue to do for me to this day. He buys me a lot of tools. I appreciate the fuck out of that. And I still work on it because sometimes I still snap on him and I don't mean to. And I reassure him all the time that, like, I'm sorry, I do not mean to snap on you. I still just don't know how to react to somebody being a father.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think uh, a lot of men, and I'm specifically labeling or calling out men because of the fact that I see it predominantly in men. I think they just really need to take a sit with themselves
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of think about who they are and how they are, and be like, is this the best version of me? Like, is this it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I've
I
done that a
mean,
lot, and like
dude,
ultimately it ends in me being like, no, there's a bunch of things that I can change. There's a bunch of stuff that I can work on.
it also makes you think, dude, like, say that I'm being this way towards you all the time, not taking accountability for it, being a dickhead. And then you're going home, you're thinking about it, and you're like, dude, if he's like that towards me, what is he fucking like towards his wife, towards his
Yeah,
family, his
yeah.
his his actual friends, you know?
Like we're out in public right now. What is he like
Yeah.
behind closed doors? You know?
Right. Is he a worse person or is this just how he is towards people he doesn't know?
Right. It definitely leaves you questioning their
Mhm.
their character.
And this might be a bad thing to think because it could be a completely different fucking reason. But when some of these people act towards me like this, like negatively and not take accountability for their shit, whether they apologize for it or not, and then I hear about like them talking, especially with my job, right? Everybody fucking talks to each other, especially Fridays when there's not a lot of shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you find out that the guy who's been a dickhead to you has an ex-wife. Now I'm thinking that's no fucking wonder you got divorced. No fucking wonder.
Yeah, it
And
makes
that's
people
my
look at
first
you
thought.
differently.
That's my first thought when I hear something about an ex-wife, an ex-husband, whatever. I'm like, and you've been a dickhead. No wonder. No fucking wonder your marriage didn't work.
I'll be right
And it
back.
could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. It could have been a mutual agreement that they just didn't love each other anymore. But what am I to fucking think if you've been a dickhead not taking accountability? I'm instantly thinking your fucking wife or your husband, your partner, whatever, got tired of your ass doing the same shit. So they got rid of you. Especially when it comes to men, since we're calling out men. I could get so fucking serious about men. I am a man and I fucking hate men. I really fucking do. Men are terrible fucking people.
Let me interject to that.
But especially when you're a man, or you're supposed to be a man, and I'm gonna just say it, you're acting like a little fucking bitch.
So
This is how deep I was raised by women, so that could also like translate to why I kind of feel about men. But I
yeah.
also grew up watching men treat my mother like shit. So of course I fucking hate men.
So what I I'm not gonna say that I hate men. I hate what men can be, for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I
I
hate
mean,
the
on a deeper
fact
level,
that
that's what I mean.
a lot of
Rappy.
men don't. There's a very specific sort of frame that society has placed men into, and if you don't fit that frame or fit that model, then you get looked at differently. And I think what really needs to happen is that frame needs to either change or it needs to just go away completely, because one, not all men are the same. Two, we all deal with man or woman, we all deal with things differently. And three, we all don't have the same capabilities. We don't have the same general capabilities that that are set by society in this like model. And
Right.
so that really needs to change, and that's not something that like one person can change. Like, that's a start, but that is a thing that needs to change, like, globally, because I've seen a lot of homes where the man is not the breadwinner. It is the spouse, or and they're the stay-at-home dad, right? And they love their lives. They have great families. They have great marriages, and shit like that. They've broken that model. So I think if you're going to want to fit in that frame, in that model, then you have to be very aware of yourself. A lot of men are not self aware, not as self aware as they should be. So they go throughout life, and I've done this before, I'm kind of speaking from experience. They go throughout life with this expectation that they have to meet these demands for society, and then society will pay them back because of it.
Mhm.
That's not the case. That has
I
never been the
think
case.
I think the biggest thing that like really helped me not be that stereotypical male of like men don't cry, don't deal with your feelings is the fact that as soon as I was old enough to even understand what anything even was, my mom was like, "Don't ever hesitate to come to me if you have a problem. Tell me how you feel. Talk to me about it."
Mm-hmm.
My mom always was that way. So my mom definitely did not raise a man that is like scared to talk about his feelings, you know?
Yeah, I think the same thing happened to me, but instead of my mom teaching me that, I think what it was is I was, predominantly raised by women, and so in my friend life, I would mainly hang around women.
Hmm.
And it was those friends that really taught me, like, it's okay to feel sad, it's okay to express yourself. And that's
Right.
that's sort of where I learned it.
Yeah.
But and in the same time, right, I've maybe it's a little biased too, because I've seen the struggles that they deal with as women coming from other men, and so I sort of collect their thoughts and ideas on the typical male too. And
Right.
instead of vice versa, it wasn't until later on in life, when I start hanging out with more men, that I had to see the other side of the coin, and
Right.
see the problems that men deal with, and then that they deal with in relationships and expectations in society and stuff like that. So I mean, there is definitely like issues on both sides, but or really not, but you have to, man or woman, you have to take accountability for like how you feel. It's okay to feel like a certain way, but don't sit here and be mad at something and then go do something stupid and just be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was mad." Like,
Yeah.
no, that's
I'm
not an
sorry. I'm a
excuse.
guy.
Yeah, you can't use that as an excuse either.
Right. I
Like,
feel like that's like part of like the biggest reason of why I respect women more than I respect men because majority of women, especially the women that I've surrounded myself around, are quick to take accountability or even if they're not quick about it, they they sit back for a little second and then realize they kind of fucked up, said something they didn't mean to say, shouldn't have said, or whatever. At least
Yeah.
in my experience of the women that I've surrounded myself with, and versus the men that I've surrounded myself with.
Now, don't get me wrong. That's not to say that women don't take accountability.
Oh, there's definitely plenty. That's
I've
why I
got
emphasized on the ones I surrounded myself with.
right. I've got family members that refuse, both man and woman, refuse to take accountability for their actions and the way that they feel.
No, I mean, I have an in law that is a female that refuses to take accountability. You know who I'm speaking of,
Yeah.
you know?
I think it's important, regardless of your gender, it's important to have those difficult conversations with yourself. Like, seriously, sit down or stand up, whatever you got to do. Look in the freaking mirror and just be like, am I on the path to being the best version of myself?
Right.
And be honest with, like, that's one thing that people do not like to do, is be honest with themselves. It's hard for
No.
me sometimes too. Like, I'm not even gonna like sit here and act like it's not. But look at yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself like you're talking to your friend, because
Hmm.
ultimately at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself. Are you okay with it? Are you okay
Right.
with who you are? If not, then
I
change
mean,
it.
look, sometimes it is a hard thing to take accountability, especially in like a situation where you fucking snapped because you've had enough, you know,
And
and you let it out. Sometimes it's hard to take accountability for that
in
because you had so much emotion behind it.
in situations like that, the best way that you can go about that is to remove yourself from the situation, come back when you're a little bit more level headed,
Hmm.
apologize, and say, this is what I'm going to work on, and actually mean it.
Right.
Like, that's a big part of it, is like, identify the problem, pose the solution, and then actually put forth like the effort to make the solution happen, you know?
Right. Dude, I walk away from a lot of things at work almost every day. And a lot of it is just between me and an inanimate object, but it still translates over, you know?
It does, yeah. Like, what are you doing that
Yeah.
you're allowing an object, a thing that doesn't even like have thoughts and feelings. You're allowing an object to control how you feel.
Yeah, let alone an object that is only gonna do anything when you tell it to, when you make it do it.
Exactly. Like,
You know,
and
the
that's
car's not gonna drive itself.
yeah, like that's a big thing that people don't realize about getting upset at certain things that they're doing, is like,
Hmm.
you're giving so much control over to a situation, or to another person, or to an object, or to something else. Like, you are relinquishing the control of your own feelings to something else
Right.
because you can't manage it and you don't want to admit that.
Hmm.
Which is, I've done it a lot. Like, I've been so upset at certain things. It's like, what the fuck?
Right.
And
Which
then
that's like the exact thing that we see in a lot of men is they can't manage it because they never have.
exactly, yeah, like that's a big thing, is not having the experience to do it, and so
Right.
you just have to learn. Like, that's
Hmm.
like, there's certain things that I still look at to this day, and I'm just like the computer, for example. Like, when the computer's fucking up, I'll start to like feel my blood pressure rise, and I'll get warm, and I'm like, this fucking thing,
Yeah,
and
me yesterday.
it's allowing me to, or I'm allowing it to affect me.
Hmm.
And it's like, when I think about it, why? Why am I doing that?
Right.
You know? And
Right.
ultimately, it's just bad emotional management, is what it is.
Right. Now, I mean, like for my sake of like with yesterday, right? It's obviously emotional management is like huge factor, if not the main factor. It's also all the amount of money and effort that I put into building the computer that I have for it to just randomly fuck up, which is not in my control when it comes to what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Windows getting corrupted. It could have been my fault, but it wasn't my fault. It just happens. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's just something
But
that happens.
yeah, I mean, I got to that point where I was beyond the point of pissed off. And if you've ever been beyond that point of pissed off, you're so mad that you cannot be mad.
Yeah,
And it was one of those
you're just
where,
totally over it.
and like for anybody that knows Skinner or is in a Discord with Skinner, whatever, like you can ask him, like as proof if you need it. I was on a Discord call with him on my phone for the entirety of it, and I was just like, bro, I'm to the point where like either it's what I'm doing now is gonna work, I'm just gonna let it run, I'm gonna walk away from it, or it's not gonna work, and I'm just gonna have to spend some money and make it work.
Mm-hmm. And you
But
kind
it
of
took me 3 hours to get to that point.
I was about to say, yeah, you kind of slowly started to realize, like, hey, I don't have control over this anymore. So either
Yeah,
I can
it's
sit here and be pissed off about it, or I can just let it do its thing and
mhm.
deal with it when if it doesn't work.
Yeah, it's in the computer's hands at this point. I've done everything I can do,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the last thing I want to do to fix something that easy is sink more fucking money into it. I've already put
Yeah.
enough. Well, I haven't put enough in my eyes, but
Well, that's the thing that's irritating is like you don't know when enough is enough on certain
yeah,
things, you know? So
right.
like
I mean,
especially if
I'm
it's something that you're passionate about.
right. I mean, I'm definitely at a point where it's like it's good enough. Like it's more than good enough. Like it can do everything that I need it to do and more. But it's also at kind of one of those points where it's like there is better and I want better. I don't need better, but I want better.
Right.
You know,
I don't know, man. I think season 2 is going
I
to be a
can,
banger.
yeah, I can. Before we sign it out here, I want to share a good, a good story of a boss showing accountability and actually from there forward continuing to be the person that I expect him to be as a boss, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I might have talked about this. I don't know. I'm going to say it again because we're on this subject, you know? But I go into work. They're like, hey, we don't need you to go out today. We're going to have you over here, moving some stuff around, making some room. Like, all right, cool, whatever. Yeah, I got you, like whatever the boss tells me to do, that's what I'm going to do. That's what they pay me to do, right? So I'm helping the guys load up so they can go out, do their jobs, what have you. They left a terrible mess. And of course, where they left the mess is where the customers go to look at the shit that they want to buy. And it wasn't the shop, wasn't the warehouse where we're usually at that the customers don't see, so it doesn't really matter. But he comes out and he looks right at me because he knew that I was the one not going out that day. And he's like, clean this fucking mess up, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, holy fuck, like, bro, fuck you. I will walk off of this job site right now. I don't care, bro. I'll get in my car and go home. But I was like, man, fuck it. I'm gonna clean it up. I'm gonna get them out of here. I'm gonna clean it up. And then I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna talk to them about it. Because like that was fucked up. I don't appreciate that. So I clean the mess. I go in there and I'm like, I really want to just talk to you like privately for a second. He was like, all right. So we go in the office. Him and his sister own the company now. And I don't care if she hears it. She's part owner. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? Shut the door in the office. And I'm like, look, man, I cleaned up the mess. I just don't really appreciate how you were talking to me right there. Like, I don't come in late. I come in, I do my job. I do what you ask me to do. If anything, I stay late because the people that you have me going out with come in late and they can't leave until the job is done. So, like, I just don't appreciate that. Also, I'm not these 18-year-olds that you have going out doing these jobs. I'm a little bit older than that. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of understand things more. Like bottom line, there's just a better way that I feel like you could have communicated that towards me. Like I understand that's why you talk to them the way you talk to them is because that's the only way that they will listen to you. But every time you've been like, "Hey, go do this, go do that," without a question, I've done it every time.
Yeah.
No problem at all. You know what I'm saying? No back talk, no me coming in late, none of that. And he was like, "You're right. I apologize. I won't let it happen again." I'm like, "Look, it's not about it happening again. It's about the fact that like I'm fine if you have to be stern. If I fuck up, I fuck up. Let me know. But when it's something that wasn't my fault and you let it out on me, I don't really appreciate that. I'll still do what you ask me to do, but also realize whether it was my fault or not, there's just a better way to say it." And from that
Right.
point on, he never once was just like, "What the fuck? Like, do that." He was always just like, "Hey, I know it's probably not your mess or you didn't make the mess, but can you clean it up?" Like, yeah, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. You know,
I have,
that's how you talk to somebody.
yeah, I have a similar like situation. And it was in when I was in Korea and I was working there, and um, this was prior to me becoming a team leader over there, and they treated me like they treat every other like young kid. And
Yeah.
then one day I walked up, and it wasn't really like anything that was said per se. It was just kind of like how it was said
Hmm.
to the group. And then like I walked up and I was like, "Hey, this is, I get what you're doing and I get why you're doing it, but at the same time, like they may respond well to that. I don't. I take it as a form of disrespect, and I think respect goes both ways. And
Right.
I respect you as a person, as my boss, and so I would just like to be treated like an adult, like
Right.
another adult should be treated, regardless of our age,
Yeah.
regardless of our position.
Yeah.
And they were like, you know what, you're right. You are a little bit older. You don't really need that sort of that sternness to get
That
things done.
correction, that kind of correction.
Yeah, you don't really need that, and I've seen that, and so I'm sorry about that. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Like I get, like I said, I get why you're doing it. It is a habit to because there's a lot of young people that come in and out. I get why you do it, but I'm coming to
Right.
you like as a person, not really as like an employee, like as a person. This is
Hmm.
disrespectful to me. Please, like
Yeah.
word the way you say
Realize.
things differently to me, and I
Right.
will be more receptive to that. And they were like, okay, cool, I got you. And ever
Hmm.
since then, it was just like, hey, Bishop, can you go do this for me? I got you.
Hmm.
Let's get it done, right? Like
Right.
it's never been like go fucking do this or go do that, like and get that shit done, like
Yeah. It's like,
after that it was never like that. That was never the case.
yeah. I mean, especially coming from both the situations that we just explained, it's like I have done nothing from the beginning but show you that I can get it done, that I will do it if you ask me to do it with no problem. And then you still turn around and do that.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro.
And
When have I given you a reason not to believe me?
that's sort of the same thing like that I went through too. Is like I had never did anything like out of the way that made them think that I personally couldn't do what they had asked of me,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just like a general thing that they default on. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
like, all right, cool. And then shortly thereafter, they was like, I want you to be a team leader. And I'm
You
like,
know,
why? And they're like, well, you're mature as fuck for your position.
yeah.
And
There
so
was
they gave me that, and I was like, okay, cool. They recognize what I'm doing and how I act.
hmm there was a time at that same job where I gave him the same respect that he has always given me, and I took accountability for a day that I didn't come in. And I come in the next day after missing the day before, he comes over to the shop to check on some shit or whatever he came over there for. He's usually at the showroom, so don't usually see him much. But he was like, I know you texted me and said you weren't coming in, and he's like, I don't necessarily need a reason, just to know that you're not coming, but why didn't you? And I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I don't have an excuse. I just didn't feel like coming in. And he was like, what? Like, am I hearing you right? I'm like, yeah, I don't have an excuse for it. And he goes, I've never heard that. I'm like, well, you want me to be honest with you or you want me to lie to you? He was like, well, I'd rather you be honest to me because I've been honest to you the whole time. And I'm like, I'm being honest. I don't have an excuse. I just did not feel like coming in. I woke up and was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
He was like, I respect that. He was like, I don't like that you didn't come in. I do appreciate you telling me that you weren't coming in, but I respect that you're going to be honest and tell me you just don't have an excuse that you were like sick or something. I'm like, well, I could have lied and said I was sick and then come in the next day and not be sick, you know?
Yeah. I've used that same kind of thing, even if it's something that I don't want to admit, but I've used that same sort of honesty throughout my job, and every single time it's always like, okay, well that's kind of bullshit that you wanted to be lazy that day, but at the same time you told me the truth, so okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I respect that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is what it is, you know?
you get so much respect from not just like your your bosses or whatever, but like from your friends, from everyone in your life. If you're just honest first,
Right.
like it's actually kind of unreal how much respect people have, especially if they have like a good head on their shoulders, but how much respect people have for honesty. Cuz they,
Mm-hmm.
especially if they're in a position where they always get lied to and they're just like, "Man, I know this motherfucker ain't doing this. I know they're doing that or whatever, but they still told me a lie." And then you come
Mm-hmm.
up to them and be like, "Yeah, um, I just kind of wanted to fuck off,
Right.
and so I did." And they're like,
So I
"Holy
just did it
shit!" You know, it kind of hits them differently. You know,
because they're not used to hearing that, you know?
yeah, that level of
And
honesty.
it's funny too because me and that boss were we were like we were talking about it like a week later. You know, we were kind of like joking about it because he was like, I just never fucking I've never had somebody tell me that, and I've been owning this company since I was like your age, you know, and and we were talking about it. He was like usually one of the other guys will just be like, oh, I'm not coming in because my stomach kind of hurts or I've been throwing up. And then they come in the next day and they don't look like their stomach hurts. They don't look like they're throwing up. Like
Yeah,
they look perfectly fine, like they weren't sick. And then I'll say something and then they'll try to throw another lie at me. And I find out that they're lying. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's not what I was gonna do to you, bro. I'm telling you the straight up truth. I didn't
yeah,
want to work. So I did not work.
yeah.
You know?
I had, and even me as a person, if you come to me even with some dumb shit and you didn't do the thing that you said that you did, but you were honest about it and the reasoning behind it, I will have so
Mhm.
much more respect for you. Like, yeah,
Facts.
it might suck. Yeah, I might feel some type of way in the moment, but
I might not want to hear that answer, you know?
yeah, at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, well, they were honest with me.
Hmm.
They were completely truthful and transparent with me, so I have to give them
Hmm.
some credit regardless of like the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had
honesty goes a long way with me.
that same job. I seen the boss and I was like, I gotta leave at 11 today. And he was like, for what? Again, I don't really need to give you a reason. You never have to give your job a reason of why you need to leave early. Okay. Like legally, you don't have to tell him shit. But I looked him dead in his eyes. I was like, because I got an interview for another job. He was like, huh? I'm like, well, you want me to lie to you again? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm gonna be real with you. You've been real with me since I started working here. I'm gonna be real with you. I have an interview for another job. He was like, well, why is that? And I'm like, because I'm not getting paid a lot. And he was like, all right, I understand it. You know, no hard feelings. So I left early, went to that interview. They offered me like 16. It was bullshit pay. This was years ago though. I came back the next day. He was like, well, how'd it go? And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't really want to work there. I know you don't want to lose me. But I'm like, dude, they're offering me 16. If you can give me that, I was making $14, right, at this place. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, if you can give me that, I won't leave. And he goes, no question about it. I'll give you 16 right now. Didn't even hesitate. That's how bad he still wanted me to work there. You know, he respected the fact that I was gonna leave for more money, but he was man enough to be like, you work your fucking ass off here. You deserve the 16, and I don't want you to leave.
Yeah.
It's not even that I can't afford to lose you. It's just that I really don't want to lose somebody that works hard as you. So he gave me 16. He
I
gave me
mean,
$2.
dude, that is a boss that's going to go far because
Mm-hmm.
of the fact that he or they are receptive as fuck. They know their employees' needs. They value honesty. They're not going to just sit here and just take a bullshit lie just because that's what they're used to. And
Yep.
the fact that it's like, all right, like they respect the fact that, the workplace is competitive because we go
Right.
to work to make money.
Yeah.
That's the point of it. Otherwise,
Mm.
if we didn't need money, then most people wouldn't be working if they didn't need money. They'd be doing something that they enjoy, like something that's
Right.
actually fun that they
Yeah.
don't have to commit to.
Right. Now he
So,
right after that he like that's like literally at the end of that conversation we walked in the office together because he wanted me to go in there with him so we could tell the lady that's in charge of all the payroll to give me more. uh I was like, why is he pulling at me in here with him? Like he could just go in there. He's the owner and just be like, hey yo, give Alex $2 more an hour. Make sure you put that in starting next week because we were already like halfway through the pay period. You know, but when we go in there, he tells her that, and he was like, I just want you to know, like the only reason I'm doing this is because you're not like these other young people that I have working here. That's why I have no problem giving you $2 because you are worth the $2.
yeah.
I'm like, dog, like the fact that you didn't want to say that in front of them because you know they're a bunch of fuck ups says a lot. And you're man enough to admit the fact that you see good potential in the person that you're giving this money to.
Yeah. Yeah, that dude, that does say a lot, man.
Yeah, look, it was a good company to work for because of him, because he's also like, he was like, I was in your position because his dad owned it. So, like, he had done what I had done. He'd gotten paid the way I got paid, like, bottom of the barrel, not making a lot, doing a lot of shit. But, he also got to the point where his dad was like, yeah, I'm getting old. I got to give it to y'all. Here it is.
Hmm.
So he was definitely understanding of the position that I was in. But he was also nice enough, including his dad, because he actually didn't know it, but his when his dad still owned it, he had given me like $1.50 raise like 2 months in, because he was like, every time I come out here, old ass man, dude, every time I come in here, you're always working, you're always building something, you're always cleaning something. He's like, what do you make an hour? I told him. He's like, yeah, we're gonna change that. So he didn't even know that his dad had gave me a raise before he even passed it on to his kids.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
dude,
great
that's
company
sick,
to work
man.
for. They just don't pay enough.
Yeah. And that's part of it, dude. That's just part of the workforce.
Yeah. Well, the thing that really got me the most is like they sell like hot tubs, play sets, basketball goals, trampolines. They sell a bunch of shit. And selling one hot tub. Look up hot tubs right now and tell me the price of them. The cheapest one that they have at this company is $32,000.
Holy fuck,
That's a
dude.
fucking car.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's a
because
fucking car.
now I know who you're talking about because
Mm-hmm.
one of their pool tables also
Is
very fucking expensive.
yeah, I think the cheapest one's like 12 grand.
Yeah, but it's quality
They're
shit.
quality. They are
Yeah.
quality shit. I will give them that. Like working for the company is not bad. The pay is not fucking great. But only given the fact that they sell one hot tub and they have paid everybody's paycheck.
Yeah.
So they are like profit like a motherfucker.
Plus, I was about to say, yeah,
But
they've paid everybody plus some back end shit.
yeah,
You
but you
know.
also got to realize they gotta buy a hot tub to replace the one they just sold. They
Right.
got to keep it in stock. So like you got to take in a factor of that shit.
Yeah.
But him without hesitation going, I'll give you $2 right now if you don't leave. Says that he can afford it.
Yeah.
That's the only negative thing I can say about that job is just they're not going to pay you well. They have the ability to, but they don't want to. And I get why, because of the people that come in and work for them is not worth giving that $2 more to.
Yeah. And also,
So
like, turnover rate is a big one. Like, you're not going to sit here and want to pay someone $16 an hour for them to
for them
stay
to
for
quit in a
two
month,
months. Yeah. And
yeah,
then be done, right?
which I did. quit like 3 months later. But
That's beside the
yeah,
point.
yeah, that's beside the point. That is also because I did find something that was paying me quite a bit more than that, and he was not going to go for that,
Right.
you know. So,
Oh, shit, man.
but it's nice to have a boss that can take accountability for his own actions. Like that says a lot for his company, dude. His company's been doing it for years, bro. The name that's on this company is not even the people who own it anymore,
Mm,
but they've been doing it since the fucking 90s.
yeah.
And it even says something because I went to interview at a pool table company that is like their main competitor, and they're not even half of what just the pool table sales are at the place that I was working at. Not even half. That tells you a lot that
Mm,
there's a competitor that's not even fucking touching close to what they are.
yeah. Oh, fuck, man. It's one hell of a first episode.
One hell of a season 2 episode beginner, buddy.
Uh,
Man,
it's
I'm
gonna be
dropping
good.
bangers after bangers.
It's gonna be
I,
good.
dude, I think this whole thing of season 2 being the way it is I think it's probably the best idea we've had yet,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So,
I can
with
agree.
that being said, I love each and every one of you. Have a better day than you did yesterday and a better day than you did today.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.